The Samsung Gear S2 actually comes in 3 different versions. The standard Gear S2, the Gear S2 Classic and the Gear S2 3G. Our Gear S2 review focuses on the regular, sporty-looking Gear S2, and the more traditional-looking Gear S2 Classic. 3G looks the same as the standard Gear S2. All 3 devices are basically identical, except that the Gear S2 3G has an eSIM and speaker for making calls, GPS, and a 20% larger battery than the others, 300 mAh versus 250 mAh. All variants of the Gear S2 are round and have 2 physical buttons, one to go back and one to go to the home screen or launch the app drawer, and a rotating bezel that can be used to navigate the Tizen interface. You can still swipe between screens and menus, but the rotating bezel makes it easier to navigate quickly. It's a really intuitive way to use a smartwatch. On Gear S2 16. The Gear S2 has a physical home and back button. Copyright Android. Both the classic and standard Gear S2 are made of metal, but the regular S2 has a 2-tone matte finish whereas the classic is polished. Watches have Gorilla Glass 3 covering their 1.2-inch AMOLED displays. However, the Gear S2 Classic is designed slightly differently to the standard Gear S2. The difference is that the Classic model is slightly lighter and a bit thinner than the regular Gear S2, and has more traditional and less sporty looks. For example, the bezel around the display is much less pronounced on the Classic, it's slightly elevated on the standard Gear S2, whereas it's almost perfectly flush with the display on the Gear S2 Classic. The S2 Classic also has ridges on the edges of the bezel, while the standard S2's bezel is smooth, but both rotate as smoothly as each other. Android Pit Samsung Gear S2 47. If you look closely you can see the difference in the bezels. Copyright Android. 2 Classic has a leather strap and buckle with a similar pin eject mechanism to the Huawei watch. This means that switching bands on the Gear S2 Classic is easy, and you can substitute any 20mm band for the one it comes with. Speaking of which, there is a spare, shorter strap in the box for those with thinner wrists. Samsung Gear S2 6. Our Gear S2 has a proprietary strap attachment mechanism. Copyright Android. The Gear S2 has a rubber band that pops off just as easily, but you can only fit special watch straps to it. Those are another point of difference between the 2 models. The Gear S2